Eba fojú ko eruku ata. Abembe eruku ata tí o ti fojú ko. Bàbá wa gbogbo Nàìjíríà. Eba fojú ko ata yín lójú. Eba fojú ko eruku ata. Abembe eruku ata tí o ti fojú ko. Bàbá wa gbogbo Nàìjíríà.
Welcome as we kickstart the broadcast from Star Radio UK this morning. I say very good morning, and as we just about to kickstart the Star Radio UK.
Eba fojú ko eruku ata. Abembe eruku ata tí o ti fojú ko. Bàbá wa gbogbo Nàìjíríà.
So we are just 5 minutes to get into Star Radio UK. As you know, Star Radio UK comes up with a morning program, and then we switch to Koikimedia. Star Radio UK, I've been with them for like almost 5 years now, probably, maybe a little bit more. A very good team, discuss issues affecting Nigerians, Africans, and all that. Mo kí gbogbo alẹ́ nǹkan sí níbi tí ẹ bá ti ń gbọ́ wa tẹ́tí wò wá. Mo kí bàbá wa Ṣéwù. Koikimedia Live, èyí tún ní 11th day. It's important that as a media personnel, you always take note of the date, the time. Very, very important, especially if you send the videos to us, because we might not know which one is the true video or not. Moki Alaja Ìrọ̀rùn ló bá dé, mo ṣì bá yín sọ̀rọ̀ lánàá, ìyá Lálùbáríkà kò ní bàjẹ́ fún yín. Mass B, mo kí wa àwọn tó wà ní Kútọ́nù. Mo sọ fún yín pé iṣẹ́ mídíà lèmi mọ̀ ṣe tó pọ̀ jù lẹ́yìn tí mo ti ṣiṣẹ́ tó pọ̀ rẹpẹtẹ nílùú yìí. Pé tí wọ́n bá kọ́ délùú kan bíi UK, àbọ̀rọ̀ mi yẹn nísìn, wàá kọ́kọ́ ṣe oríṣiríṣi iṣẹ́ tó bá come across. Then later on, wàá máa já kúrò ní àwọn iṣẹ́ yẹn díẹ̀díẹ̀. That's when tó bá fẹ́ upgrade nìyẹn o. So freelance journalist ló ń pè. And freelance journalists can operate from anywhere. Mo lè lọ sí studio, mo lè wà nínú ilé mi, mo lè lọ sọ́dọ̀ Alájà Ìrọ̀rùn ló bá dé kí n wà níbẹ̀ for 3 weeks kí n dẹ̀ máa operate. Nǹkan pè ní freelance journalist nìyẹn. And I'm always on the ground as well. So in case táwọn tó bá ń ní wọ̀ mọ iṣẹ́ tí mo gbé dání, so oríṣiríṣi iṣẹ́ ló wà. But tá bá parí Star Radio, ṣé mọ̀ pé gbogbo ẹ̀yin tí ẹ bá fẹ́ wá láti Nàìjíríà nísìnyí tó jẹ́ pé lórí medical, fún healthcare, forget it. Àwọn kan ti bàjẹ́. Ara ń bá ń sọ náà nìyẹn pé sórí orúkọ Nàìjíríà yẹn bad omen ni program tí mo fẹ́ ṣe tá bá ti parí Star Radio nìyẹn. So look at the topic, so n ti máa discuss ni. Mo kí ẹ̀yin tèmi lórí Instagram. Èmi náà ni Koikimedia. Media, Koikimedia. Bringing the world closer to your máa fi tán fi media máa fi wọ̀nyí. Ṣẹ̀dá fi gbọ́ràn. A ní Nàìjíríà kì í ṣe ìlú. UK ti all ti recruitment of health workers. Wọ́n náà wọ́n need health work. Wọ́n náà wọ́n need yín mọ́. When I need to come out in Nigeria, I'm talking about Ogunmola. So I need because I'm just 2 minutes. I'm going to switch to this camera. I have a lot of camera here. Moki Pastor Mo. Ẹ̀gbọ́n mi Ṣẹ́gun Ọ̀nà, Maize Gold, Mass BTV. Ẹ fi wọ́n sílẹ̀ yẹn ká àwọn abáṣẹ lọ. Wọ́n kéré sí nọ́mbà Ìgbòho Ọlọ́run gbogbo wọn pátápátá ẹ kéré sí nọ́mbà Ìgbòho. Ìmọ́lẹ̀ Yorùbá nìyẹn láàrin Lámínà mo kí ìyàwó Modúpẹ́ Adégúnwà mo kí èmi ọmọ yín náà ni ẹ fi wọ́n sílẹ̀ pé èmi á educate gbogbo Nigerians tí kò dá kankan mọ̀. Àní Nàìjíríà kì í ṣèlú Nigerian passport kò ní value kankan tó bá fi ń travel tó dáwà tá ti fi travel la mọ bó ṣe rí tó bá ná sí immigration báyìí kódà wọ́n máa tún gbé nǹkan kan sábẹ́ pé ṣé fake ló gbé bọ̀ ìlú òṣì àwa ń sọ fún yín pé èèyàn kan gbé fake dání ṣó rò pé fake Nigeria is fake country. UK ní news tó jáde lánàá ó dùn mí pé ààrẹ nígbà tá à ń ṣe program lánàá bọ̀ òun la máa fi ṣe program so Star Radio UK máa lọ fún bí almost 40 minutes so tó bá jẹ́ pé òfin gbọ́ Star Radio ó lè padà wá kó save data so immediately bá ti parí Star Radio a kàn máa wọnú koikimedia program so mo ti set up title tí màá máa lò ní ọ̀sán ẹ̀ I'm just 1 minute away so mo kí gbogbo alẹ́ nǹkan sí mo kí àwa tí àwa nú àwẹ̀ mo dẹ̀ kí àwọn Kristẹni mo kí gbogbo àwọn oníṣẹ̀ṣe mo kí gbogbo ẹgbẹ́ pátá Bàbá Ayọ̀ Adébánjọ sọ pé struggle continue Nàìjíríà máa da náà ni ṣẹ́tìrì headline yẹn Buhari lọ sí Saudi Arabia that will be his final trip kó tó di pé ó máa gbéjọba ẹ̀ sílẹ̀ so there's a lot to discuss mo kí gbogbo yín pátápátá ẹ káàárọ̀ ni à ń kí onílé ẹ káàsán fáwọn tó bá jẹ́ ọ̀sán lẹ́wà ẹ káalẹ́ fáyìn tẹ́wà ní Australia àti New Zealand tí gbogbo tí bá ń sọ bá ń bí ẹnu o lè já fóònù ẹ kó fọ mọ́lẹ̀ tí ti bá ń sọ tó bá ń rún ẹnu nú o lè là nǹkan mọ́ TV ẹ o lè là mọ́ TV ẹ problem tiẹ̀ ni ẹ kò ṣe wá àtàwọn family ẹ̀ lẹ́dọ̀ máa dín pẹ̀lú ẹ̀ so yẹn ṣe problem tèmi mo kí àwọn Biafra akí Simon Ekpa the first prime minister of the government in exile tó bá mọ̀ tó ń pè ní government in exile we might discuss about that today during the program taba ní time so Tinu bá ń bí ẹ torí fóònù yẹn kò fọ mọ́lẹ̀ ọmọ àlè wo bó ṣe ń sọ̀rọ̀ bínú bá ń bí ẹ ẹ jẹ́ àtúgbọ́ fídíò Ìgbòho kan sí kí tó switch sí Star Radio 11 o'clock ti lò mo kí gbogbo yẹn settle down ẹ̀yin tẹ́ láwẹ̀ ẹ gbómi sẹ́gbẹ̀ẹ́ gbé tí sẹ́gbẹ̀ẹ́ ẹ̀yin tẹ́ láwẹ̀ ẹ máa fà níyàn bá lọ kò ní bàjẹ́ fún wa ilẹ̀ Yorùbá máa dúró ìgbà tó fẹ́ dúró ní àmọ́ nítorí wọ́n ti bàrìn àjò yẹn jẹ́ díẹ̀ but a sì ń tẹ̀síwájú ẹ̀yin tẹ́ láwẹ̀ pé Koiki àmọ́ bí tẹ́ dé ìwọ náà jáde ọkùnrin kan níwọ náà ìbúwọ náà o kó kan sábẹ́ torí ká má máa fi gbogbo ẹnu sọ̀rọ̀ àwa náà àwẹ̀ o ṣáà kó kan sábẹ́ ìwọ náà jáde kó lọ ṣe bí Ìgbòho ọ̀ bí ìdè pé nínú nà àbí Ìgbòho dá ìwọ náà jáde bá wa lọ ṣe díẹ̀ nínú tí Ìgbòho ṣe yẹn ìwọ bá wa lọ ṣe ìwọ náà bá wa lọ ṣe wàá rí pé máa promote ẹ mad people all over the place mo kí Azeez ní Miami bí a kò tí ì jí ni tó bá rí signal máa dìde ni mo kí gbogbo ẹ̀yin tí ẹ ń fi ìrànlọ́wọ́ pé Koiki anáfẹ́ fún ẹ ní nǹkan sẹ́ àgbègbè ìyá kan ọmọ mi kan send message sí mi lánàá mo rò pé mo bá wọn sọ̀rọ̀ rí wọ́n ní mo fẹ́ fún ẹ lówó mo mọ bí ṣe máa send owó yẹn sí ẹ wàláì wọ́n send ẹ lánàá kò ní bàjẹ́ fún yín mo kí gbogbo yín tẹ̀ ń ṣe wàhálà ẹ pé kí gbogbo tí ẹ̀yin ní ẹ fi ràn wá lọ́wọ́ jọ ẹ̀yin ò lè jáde ọmọ kékeré báyìí ló ń jáde ló ń jágbe mọ́ federal government ẹ lọ́wọ́ bàbá Ayọ̀ Adébánjọ bàbá yẹn sì ń sọ pé Nàìjíríà máa da a máa sọ̀rọ̀ lé lórí láàárọ̀ yìí ó ní agbára gan kọ́lọ́n túbọ̀ dìlọ́rọ̀ ẹ̀mí bàbá yẹn 95 years old bàbá ní Nàìjíríà máa da hey at 95 a máa ti wá jẹ gbèsè báyìí o mo fẹ́ switch sí Star Radio kí ló tún ṣẹlẹ̀ unrest kẹ̀ wọ́n ní Ìṣẹ́rí ní Lagos State àwọn ọmọ mi ti gbé jáde bá lọ sórí koikimedia ẹ jẹ́ sáré ṣú ẹ̀ fún yín ká tó máa switch sí Star Radio àmọ́ tó ṣẹlẹ̀ ojoojúmọ́ ni bad news ẹ gbọ́ àmọ́ tó tún ṣẹlẹ̀ báyìí o kí ló tún ṣẹlẹ̀ ní Ìṣẹ́rí o wọ́n ní wàhálà wà ní Ìṣẹ́rí there is unrest according to report tó wà ní bíbá ẹ jẹ́ nǹkan síta ká tó switch sí Star Radio there is an unrest going on at Ìṣẹ́rí Òkè area in Lagos area H a division covering Ojodo-Baga olówó wọra Ìṣẹ́rí axis as hoodlums àwọn ọmọ àlè àwọn ọmọ tí Tinubu àti àwọn Àtíkù àti Peter Obi tó ti bàjẹ́ àti gbogbo àwọn olórí burúkú àwọn politicians àti Yaya Bello àti gbogbo wọn belonging to different factions stood in their area fighting over the land issue ẹ para yín dànù ẹ para yín get out para yín dànù. Mo kí ìyàwó Wẹ̀mínà Adésànyà. Gbogbo yín ni máa kí dáadáa. Ẹ já lọ sí Star Radio tí wọ́n ń dóde mi báyìí. So a máa switch gbogbo signal yẹn sí Star Radio. So èmi máa mute mic mi. So èmi máa switch sí Star Radio. Mo ní láti mute mic mi kẹ́lẹ̀ gbọ́ dáadáa. So mo padà bọ̀. After bẹ́ẹ̀ ni long live Usha. Wọ́n ti ní tí máa ti ń wọ program. Ikú kan nípa Ìgbòho, gbogbo ẹni tó bá rokú sí Ìgbòho lẹ́yìn máa kú. Bẹ́ẹ̀ ṣe pa Bọ́lá Ìgè ẹ̀ lè pa Ìgbòho. Bẹ́ẹ̀ ṣe pa Délé Gíwá ẹ̀ ní rí Ìgbòho pa. Bẹ́ẹ̀ ṣe pa Tolúlọpẹ́ Arótilẹ̀ ẹ̀ ní rí Ìgbòho pa. Bẹ́ẹ̀ ṣe pa gbogbo àwọn akánni àtàbìnrin ilẹ̀ Yorùbá tó ń ṣe pé kíran Yorùbá kó ní àṣeyọrí ẹ̀ ní rí Ìgbòho pa. Láyé gbogbo ẹni tó bá dẹ̀ rokú sí Ìgbòho ẹ̀yin lẹ máa kú. Mo padà bọ̀.
Hope that you are enjoying the music in the background from the Joyful Way Incorporated. Let me see whether I can pronounce that name. Ongukofila. Oh my goodness. But you know, we say music is a universal language. At least if you don't hear and don't understand anything that is going on, you can still nod your head and tap your foot to it. But maybe to our South African listeners, Evan, good morning to you, Chantal. Oh, in Cape Town. I know you'll be enjoying the morning show. So wherever you are listening to us from, can you tell us what the meaning of that song is? And I can Google and find it, but it would be nice to hear from you as well, because you speak those languages. But wherever you are, Star Radio, okay? Making sure we bring you everything that you need to know, from archaeology to zoology, from Accra to Zanzibar. As we say all the time, it's making headlines. Why not? We make sure that we're going to touch on it. And it's now time for us to touch on what is happening and giving you all the details about what is happening in Nigeria with Mr. OLAMILEKAN, who has joined us this morning after a week's break from the front lines. Let me put it that way. Yeah, so he was working behind the scenes, but he's here this morning, and we are going to bring you everything that you need to know when it comes to the stories making the rounds in Nigeria. Yomi, massive good morning to you.
Well, it is a very good morning to you, Mr. Archie, and a very good morning to you, Frank. Good morning to, Bossman. Good morning to, Dante and the rest of the team. And good morning to our listeners and viewers from around the world. And I say, welcome to Star Radio UK. It is still the April. It is still the festival mood, but we are back into the program as usual. And like Archie was saying, it's been a week behind the scene, but I've been following almost all the news and the headline on our favorite channel, Star Radio UK, the finest African and Caribbean radio station in London. At 11 o'clock every Monday to Friday, come down here and you can get all the update from Nigeria, because as they say, the big giant of Africa, or is it the ant of Africa, as some are saying? Well, we'll have to tell. I'll come back again to you in the studio, Mr. Archie.
Well. Listeners, Mr. OLAMILEKAN for you. All ready to fire on all cylinders. So wherever you are, you also stay glued to your sets and enjoy the show with me, Mr. Frank Davis, Mr. OLAMILEKAN, and our able producer, Mr. Francis Guy as well. And every one of you there on the platform, the various platforms, we salute you once again. Well. We know that the festivities have taken place. We know there are other festivities still going on. But how many days after the presidential election in Nigeria, and we think that things have calmed down nicely, but it looks like some ugly heads are being risen. Looking at Wallace Pass and people doing all sorts there. So what is going on there?
Well, the election was held as the government promised, apart from the governorship election that had about 10 days, interval. But, the February election that has been planned, about 350 billion naira was spent. Whether it is money well spent, I'm sure a lot of Nigerians will debate on that. But as you say, after 25th of February till date, there is still wrangling. There is still the opposition have not congratulated, the president. There's still a lot of banter. There's been a protest already in Washington, D.C. by some Nigerians that think that American government must do everything to save humanity or probably interfere, which I'm not sure they're going to do anyway. But
like you said, a month passed already, just about almost 6 weeks after the February, or what do we call the 2023 election that decide, who becomes the next president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Things have become very calm, but it is still being hit up because we are now less than another 5 weeks when President Muhammadu Buhari would have to hand over to the incoming Bola Ahmed Tinubu. But as I say, Buhari is taking his last trip to Saudi Arabia before the final handling in May 29, if all goes as planned.
Well, interesting. Now, that allegation that is being labeled against the president-elect, let me call him, we will come to the tribunal and everything that's supposed to take place. Now, talking about some cocaine dealings and stuff like that, how true are they? Are there something that happened in the past that has been trashed and maybe it's been cleared and everything, and people are just trying to just pull that out again or bring that out to discredit him? What exactly has gone on there?
Well, when we talk about everybody has a past, and sometimes, we could have a past that could haunt us back, or we could have a past that could probably be part of our help. Let's first talk about, what you're talking about is actually the United States District Court of the Northern District of Illinois has released fresh document holding Bola Tinubu's encounter with the American authorities over, and we have to say that over, allegation of narcotic trafficking and money laundering. What do we know? I mean, I've got the paper right in front of me. We know that, sometimes, Tinubu lives in the U.S., before he moved back to Nigeria, and then, but this was sometimes around in the 80s, according to the, the document I have here. And it says the United States of America by its attorney, Michael J. Shepard, the United States attorney for the Northern District of Illinois, for its verified complaint for the forfeiture, state as followed. This is a forfeiture action under 21 USC 881 and 18 USC 981. This court has the jurisdiction over this action pursuant. What do we know? In summary, we know that almost close to $500,000 went into Bola Ahmed Tinubu's account, while he was in US. And what was this money? And is this a legitimate money? Evidence has pointed out that this was never a legitimate money. 460,000 US dollars of what we can call narcotic, money from, people went into his account, even though he said he never knew that money was coming from those individuals. He actually let the money go, and this has now become a hunt for Bola Ahmed Tinubu. And even though he has said that this has been a long time, and that hasn't stopped him from becoming or participating or contesting as the president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. So this has been going on for a very long time, and it seems it just keeps going on and it's not ending. And this has been one of the most discussed conversation that can we have a president that has history of money that has to do with narcotic into his own account, or should we just ignore it and say it is just our past, just as everybody has a past?
Well, can we just ignore it? But we've got Frank in the house as well. Let's go to him and let's pick his thoughts about Frank, how are you?
I'm good. Olami, how are you doing?
Shout out to you, my brother. Good morning.
Good.
Now, we hope you had a nice Easter weekend as well.
A restful one.
Okay, that's good. That's good. That's what we want to hear. Now, let's first of all go to the foreign protests that we normally do. Yeah. We have a group who will go to maybe the US, maybe the UK, or some foreign nation, and then we protest. Yeah. I mean, the Nigerians, some Nigerians are calling for the US to actually find a way to either intervene.
Yeah.
In what is happening in Nigeria at the moment with the elections. We know up to now the president, unless he's done it in the background, has not congratulated. The United States president has not acknowledged, let me put it this way, the results of the election that took place in Nigeria, therefore thereby not congratulating Tinubu. But what do you think? The protests that have gone on, let's talk about that first, and then we come to the drug issue, past events.
Actually, I think the protests are a legitimate right for every nationals of every citizens. More so when we have our leaders depending or relying a lot on international community. Basically, you pull the triggers where it might be able to be very effective, or it might hurt more. So, I mean, going to the international community or protesting, sending petitions to international community, getting attention on the media. In fact, let's also remind ourselves that Liar Mohammed, anytime he wants to talk,
he'll go there.
He'll go to Washington to assemble a group of journalists, pay them, thinking that is how the issue can go far. So I think what Nigerians are doing, let's congratulate them. For me, it's better than they taking the arms. At the end of the day, we shouldn't, or the West should not give excuse or say, okay, we could have done something, because these people are doing everything possible to raise alarm, telling you that this is what went wrong. Can you do something? Do you have some leverage over some of these leaders? Can you do something about it? Let's see you acting. Let's see you taking that leadership that you want us to accord you, that you're a global leader. When it comes to democracy, we should learn from you. When it comes to taking advice, you should be the guiding principle, which are veiled by certain principles that you have actually put in place. And indeed, you impose a democracy on us in one way or the other. So if something is going wrong, and I think it's legitimate that the Nigerians all over the world protest, whether it's to the Dalai Lama, whether it's to the mosques next them, whether it's to the Xi Jinping or wherever you are. If you can even protest at your workplace, if you can wear a T-shirt, say Nigerian might not happen to us, as your clothing to your warehouse whilst you are working, is part of the protest.
Okay. Well, listeners, that's Frank's agreement whether pertaining to public foreign protests. Now let's come to the issue pertaining to Tinubu once again, where in the past there's been allegation that he's been involved in some cocaine, whatever it is. Now it's an allegation, and it was somewhere in the 80s. Now up to now, as whether there was any need for him to be charged and maybe imprisoned or whatever, nothing of the sort has been done. So why should people be bringing that up, and why should the U.S. government there be publishing such things?
Actually, I think it's right for them to bring it out. I do not see anything wrong with it bringing it out. My only worry is that the angle they are coming from is a bit problematic for me. Tinubu used to live in Chicago, south side of Chicago, and he was a taxi driver. I mean, some of us know certain people who were close to him. My boss was his friend.
Okay.
I mean, they were very, very close. A lot of things are known about him. Now, with this very case, I think Tinubu was not basically indicted for drug offenses. What we know is that he was accused, taken to court. Basically, the case was taken to court, and a forfeiture order was issued by the court to forfeit certain money that he claims he did not know, just like money laundering. Money has gone to your account, and if it was today, I think he would have been prosecuted. I mean, he would have been prison, because how do people know your account? Those were the time where people used to use checks and all that, and so you can claim that probably you issue a check to somebody and so there are a lot of defense mechanisms. In today, evidence would have probably established that the telephone conversation between those who actually put the money in, they would have established probably you actively sent a text message to them, giving them your number. But 1980s, difficult to see as exchanging text messages, WhatsApp messages, which today help in fighting some of these crimes. They would have even pinpointed exactly using his what they call locational data on his mobile phone to pinpoint how he made them. Where all those evidence would have come out. What troubles me, however, is that he did not disclose it. He has not publicly addressed the issue. One would have expected that before you even step foot forward that you want to contest, the electoral community should be asking certain questions that will unravel your background record. Okay? For us to put out there to say that, these are the background records that he has. Anyone with information contrary to this can come, because it ought to be published. You get me? But not disclosing that, for me, is where the problem is. Are you getting me? It's either the law did not require him. If that's the case, then we should be looking at the law, which will make it mandatory.
Yeah.
Just like here we do DBS check.
Yeah.
DBS check. Whether you were guilty or not, once you had a cause to answer to questions from the court, it has to be made public. Questioned by the authorities, it has to be declared. That is here. If you are ever accused of rape and the police is on your record, you will have to disclose it. I mean, Nigerians are very good at disclosing on their CV their attempted
senator,
attempted MPs. Why can't we say attempted?
Who was it? Drug peddler.
Are you getting me? But the fact is that he was not convicted of that deal. That is what. So the anger people are pushing that he's a drug peddler like that. There's no document to establish that fact that in his defense. Money was put in my account. I do not know the source of it. You claim it is drug-related money. I say, okay, have the money.
Yeah.
That is it.
That's it.
I have not personally
benefited from it.
What you claim was drug money aimed at my account, or who came to my account aimed at profiting me.
Yeah.
I have not profited it. What you see in my account, have it if you claim it's drug related, because I do not know the people who even put that money in there also,
Okay, listeners, interesting one. But what do you think about that? It is already okay. Updates from Nigeria. We've got Mr. Frank Davis in the studio and Mr. Olayemi Koiki in our North London studios bringing you updates from Nigeria. Now let's go back to Yomi. Now, what has been the reaction of the opposition parties in Nigeria at the moment pertaining to this issue? Because everybody wants something to actually unweight the other. What are they saying?
Well, you're quite right, and like Frank has actually, explained it. I couldn't have explained it much better. But what we do know is that, every Nigerian politicians and probably most African politicians have one kind of bags or baggage in their cupboard that they are trying to avoid, from the public domain. But because of the kind of, world that we are living in, Tinubu has got a lot, when it comes to his age, his background, it seems that everything has disappeared. Nobody knows, the friends he went with, during the time he was in secondary school up to primary school, even his community. But all we know that is, he's somewhere from Osun State, and there's a lot. But in terms of the reaction, there's been a lot of different reaction on these, especially, whether the Labour Party or the PDP will be using that against him, when they're going to be taking their case to the court. Is something that we'll have to wait and see. We know that the court proceedings have started, but it is not there yet. But there's still a bit of ample of time for them to respond to different petition that is being sent across. But what a lot of Nigerians are saying, as Tinubu lost the credibility to be the Nigerian president, on that ground, we will have to wait and see. But a lot of different reaction, and let's just take some of those reaction before we move straight away as well. Somebody went to say that Abike Dabiri is someone I want to know a take on this. Please, how do I get to hear or read a response, considering she's blocked me? Abike Dabiri is the diaspora, that works with the diaspora, but it seems that this person cannot get access to Abike Dabiri. I actually saw her with, the former president, Ibrahim Badamasi Babangida, in Minna in one of her tweets, because she was one time a correspondent, with the NTA, during the Babangida era. But right now, she's also a card carrying member of the APC. Let's take 3 more comments in terms of what people are saying. They are just playing the last card for Nigeria. Maybe they never imagined what is to come of Nigeria after. Also, what foreign countries come for his inauguration. So some are saying that, just like Frank says, he has been acquitted, even though money went in there. He could have denied it. He could have said, as an accountant, I was just doing my own, and people paid money in there, even though he lost the money as well. And also, some people went on to say, not just Nigeria, to the world, do they really think that world leaders want to fraternize, shake hands, and be seen with a drug vendor with a kind of criminal past, while he doesn't give a damn about his reputation? And as we speak right now, nobody still knows his location just after the governorship election. Star Radio UK, the finest African and Caribbean radio station in London, the 11th of April 2023. And I'll come back again to you in the studio.
Now, interestingly, we know that the president-elect is out of reach. Now, the outgoing president, Buhari, is alleged to have spent 8 months for health during his tenure. This 8 years that he's been in power. Now the question is, with Tinubu also having ill health, and now we don't know where he is. I mean, people are saying, I mean, we knew that during their campaign and everything, we know that he was very frail at points, because he could go for maybe a rally or something for a time being, and the next moment he will not be found anywhere. So the question here, once again, is, will Tinubu also do the same thing as Buhari did, coming to live in the UK or France or whatever advanced country to be seeking treatment whilst the country is being run by whoever?
You see, actually, Nigerian elections takes place every 5 years.
Yeah.
That's 5 years, yes.
Yeah, I mean, is it 5 years or
5
4?
or 4 years?
4 years.
4 years.
4
okay.
years. Now, 4 years, that's 48 months.
Mm-hmm.
So if you are looking at 48 months, you're taking 40 months out of you're taking 8 months out of it.
Mm-hmm.
That is a huge percentage.
Yeah.
That's a huge percentage.
Of time that have been wasted.
Close to 20%, about 18% of the time that the president was supposed to be used in fixing the Nigerian's problem was spent taking care of his health. That's a whole lot. So from the start, the people of Nigeria have lost about 20% of what they bargained for. that is gone. So we start off from 80%. Before we even look at the
you've already lost before you started.
No, we've lost about 18% because that's what we did. That's what we bargained for. You see, but you can't blame Nigerians. Because if you look at every gymnastics that is going on around Tinubu's elections, you can't say Nigerians elected him.
Okay.
He might have been pronounced the
winner
victor
of that election,
but from what is happening, if we want to use what was supposed to take place as fair, free elections, then we can say he's been selected for the people, not elected by the people.
Okay. Selected by those.
Selected by those who have links and who have control over the wholes of the selection process, instead of elected by the people for the people. Now the question is, actually, they decide who they want. Do not forget, because people who have interest in that game are also putting their personal interest first.
Yeah.
I saw a video where Tinubu lost control, whether his helicopter was there or something like that. Memory-wise, he's gone weak. You can just imagine who is going to be taking those decisions. Is he just being put there to have the title of president and others run around him, like the way we have in Ghana today?
De facto
unappointed, unelected, unofficial people basically running affairs. They have no constitutional responsibility and mandate, and therefore decide to do everything, and the president takes the responsibility because you guys are doing it.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what once you're okay, I'm okay. Are you getting me? What we ought to do, in my view, is what Nigerians have started now. Pushing for this demonstration, pressing home our demands to make sure that if it's an election, let's elect. If it is election, don't waste our time.
Yeah, that money. That
so that we know. I think the courts must make it clear that going forward, we do not want any election. We will come out for a democratic process. However, it is a selection process. Nobody should fly from Ghana to go and vote because they left. They went and voted.
Yeah.
UK, US to just go and participate and be part of that electoral process to also say that I was part of those who helped elect someone. Because what we have, election and selection, are two different things. Are you getting me? So actually, Tinubu, I mean, nowhere to be found. Health reasons, we know he's going to. Probably we've lost 20% of it already.
We've always started.
Someone said, well, the campaign had a toll on him and therefore he needed to recoup, get ready, plan before this thing. But I do not think so. The person is weak. You know
me? Do you think Nigerians, like Frank is saying, from the web go, think that, Buhari, he's a stronger person. We see him as quite stronger than Tinubu. Well, we lost 8 months. Now, when it comes to Tinubu, then we are going to see about 2 years. What do you think?
Well, according to the handler or the spokesperson of Buhari, additional that actually gave us this information. I mean, the information is already in the public domain. We know that, just after Buhari came into power, it seems that London was the second home. But the media believe that in terms of the economy, he argued that Nigeria now has a diversified economy following the effort of President Muhammadu Buhari administration, stressing that the oil now contribute less than 10% of the Nigerian GDP. He also argued that the president never said he was going to be selling off the presidential plane, according to what the Catholic Bishop of Sokoto, Matthew Kuka, say. But the question is, what about on the ground? What is the feelings about Nigerians, which is the main important thing. I didn't even know that we're going to be discussing these in details, but this morning I posted, the 8 years of President Muhammadu Buhari, what is it like, to an average Nigeria, have you got those dream jobs, have you started the business, what is the economic situation presently in Nigeria? And I'm going to be picking up some of the, the comments, in the next few weeks, in the next few minutes as well. But one thing we want to say is that, the APC government came, with the hope of bringing a bit of, sanity. But are they leaving the government and the next person that is also an APC? The most important aspect is children. Up to Saturday, 80 children are still missing from Zamfara. They were kidnapped. There's been so many killings and kidnapping. A former governor has just been released after paying 4 million. So it seems that just before the election, the terrorism went down, and as the election is completed, they've come back up again. And that should be one of the so many that a lot of people will be discussing around President Muhammadu Buhari's APC 8 years in power. Has he really achieved the security aspect that will bring in the investors and allow Nigerians, as they're putting the policy in place, are the international community going to want to invest in a country where the rule of law is not being played out, especially with the case of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, that the United Nations has intervened, but yet the government refused. And these are some of the reasons why a lot are saying that 8 years down the line, a lot of Nigerians want to do what they call japa to UK, but it seems it's not a very good news in the health sector for anyone planning to come to Nigeria, as the UK has now halted active recruitment of health workers from Nigeria to combat what they called brain drain crisis, or could it be something else? Star Radio UK, I'll come again to you in the studio.
Well, listeners, Mr. OLAMILEKAN, let me say good morning to Pastor Joyce Lawson, who is also joining us as well. Bravo, I hope you are doing very, very well. Good morning. Okay, now let's come to the Japa story that you were talking about. Now, with the UK, issuing that, we know that greener pastures, we talk about that all the time. You look at what is happening in your area. You've been trained in a particular industry. You seem like you got the best of what you're going to do. But you see you are being underutilized. Now you think that, well, there are better prospects elsewhere, greener pastures there, and then we decide to look. We've been talking about the fact that the government has to go into a plan of seeing how they can also monetize those in those fields as well. They've not done so, but for the UK government now to come, that means that definitely it would have been the Nigerian government actually petitioning them, saying that, look, our people are fleeing our country, those in those sectors are fleeing the country to yours, and therefore do something about it for them to have said that. But what do you think? Is it the government, is it the Nigerian government that prompted that, or the UK government thinking that they've had enough of Nigerian experts, health experts in that particular field?
Well, it's not the Nigerian government, looking at what we, I've been following these news since yesterday. Mm-hmm. It seems maybe it's the World Health Organization that has actually identified Nigeria as one of the 55 countries with significant health workforce challenges in a report that was released a month ago. Was this the reason why the UK could say, maybe for now, we should put a stop for those that are planning to leave Nigeria, probably on a good ground as the health workers, or probably as somebody looking for greener pasture? And one thing about that is, the consequence, the UK government advised health and social care employers not to actively seek workers from this country except where there is a government-to-government agreement. Are we going to see a government-to-government agreement with the new government coming in? Because this new government is going to have a lot on the table. They have to deal with the economy. They have to deal also, with the security, and likewise the relationship that we have with different countries around the world. But this directive is highlighted in the statement on the UK government website titled Code of Practice for International Recruitment of Health and Social Care Personnel in England. We do know that this is one of the sectors that is needed here in UK. I was doing a bit of a breakdown yesterday as well. I mean, if I was going to look for a waiter job in UK, I would not need a sponsorship because I live here. But if you're going to apply from Nigeria and say you are coming to do a waiter job, you'll be asked to go to the next Mama Buka, maybe in Ghana or Benin Republic. But we need you as a healthcare service here. But it seems that is not going to happen anymore. How Nigerians are going to react to that? Because I still have family friends that just arrived on that scheme not too long ago. What about those that are planning to arrive on that same scheme? That seems to be completely halt as we speak right now.
Okay, listeners, it is Star Radio UK, 11:34 the time. We'll go to some of the other stories making the rounds in Nigeria. Over to you, Yomi.
Well, the next one goes to some of our leaders when it comes to those that we look up to. Once again, this is Star Radio UK, the finest African and Caribbean radio station in London. At 95, the struggle continue for a better Nigeria, says Pa Ayo Adebanjo. Remember that he actually said, before the election that, should Peter Obi not be the next president, then we should forget about everything Nigeria. Maybe they've actually changed their mind or what they think about Nigeria. He actually was 95 years old. A lot of congratulations messages from different individuals as well. But at 95, struggle continue for a better Nigeria, says Pa Ayo Adebanjo, the leader of the social cultural group Feni Fani. This is not the Nigeria we fought for. We pursue outcome of the presidential poll to Supreme Court. Obasanjo visit and Feni Fani leader again declined comment. Obi, I admire respect for your courage in speaking against the bad governance. But the leader of the Pan-Yoruba social political group Feni Fani, Pa Ayo Adebanjo, has affirmed that the group will take its case against the outcome of the February 25th presidential election to the Supreme Court. Speaking during his address at what I can call a small Thanksgiving to celebrate his 95 years birthday at IGBOHO. I actually visited him there, while I was in Nigeria, a year and a half ago. And, very, very good serene. But again, you can see the poverty surrounding one man that has a lot, where the rest is just poverty. And probably that's why they are saying that the struggle continue for a better Nigeria. I'm not sure how Nigerians are going to react, especially the Yorubas that probably will be thinking maybe he's going to join force with somebody like the emeritus Professor Adebanjo Akintoye to the cause of the Yoruba nation struggle. But it seems that, Pa Ayo Adebanjo believes that the struggle continue at 95 for a better Nigeria. So I'm going to quickly go straight to some of the other headlines as well. There's currently tension as hoodlums are fighting somewhere in Lagos State as well. That is just coming. A very, very sad report again. Nigeria unemployment ratio to hit 41% in 2023 according to KPMG. These are not the kind of news that Nigerians want to hear, but as we know that there is a lot when it comes to a country that is not producing enough, and when there's opportunity is not there. According to the KPMG, as stated that Nigerian unemployment rate increased to 37.7% in 2022 last year, but it will further rise to 40.6% due to the continued inflow of job seekers into the job market. And a lot of people are taking advantage of that. This advantage also comes to, one of those that, a lot of people thought she was also part of the Yoruba Nation movement by coming out to say that she has already opened a job website. I'm talking about, Mrs. Modupe Onitiri, that actually told some Yorubas that there is a job opportunity. And the question is, when you go on the website, there is nothing called a job opportunity more than data collection as well. And these are reasons why Nigerians are falling to some of this, trap. Because when a country that doesn't have enough people that are well educated to understand that having a job means that the system in the country will be set up to allow the job by the private sector. So she set up this website telling some Yorubas to go and register because there is a job opportunity. When you go on that website, there is not one single job in there. And as she says, that job, nobody knows when it's going to come. So this is a very, very bad situation as the multinational consultant firm in a newly released report on the KPMG Global Economy Outlook report H1 2023 said unemployment will continue to be a challenge due to the slower than required economic growth and likewise the inability of the economy to absorb 4.5 million new entrants into the Nigerian market. Remember that Nigerians study a lot. A lot of Nigerians are going to university, but the moment you come out of the university, there's another set of people going in there. So every time the jam is busy, but there's no job by the time they're coming out of the university, they end up working for the politician or sometimes just carrying their suitcase. And you see a lot of them in Lagos State where they are now come close to you and say, my brother, can you just spare me 100 naira? And you thought, well, in this very nice, beautiful suit like Mr. Archie, why are you asking for money? This is a current situation, not just in Lagos, in Aba, in Nasarawa, every part of Nigeria. Nigerians are graduating, but there is no job to kick that market of 4.5 million new entrants. And she has already taken advantage of that by telling some Yorubas that there is job opportunity, but you go on that website, is as nothing as just an empty box.
Wow, listen, let's start Radio UK. Now, it's quite interesting because I'm looking at the instructions or whatever the UK government has made, statement that they've made pertaining to bringing healthcare workers into the system. Now, and then the fact that people are graduating.
Yeah.
Yearly, they are graduating and they are all stopped.
Yeah.
There's bottleneck, nobody can get out there.
Yeah.
Now, why are we not instead training more health workers? Okay, so we have abundance. We can just export them. We can be making money. Many times we talked about this. And whatever they are being trained for, they come out and there are no jobs for them to go into.
It's simple. It's because we have consistently engineered our retrogression. That is it.
Yeah.
We've planned to go back. We've always planned to retrograde. It's because
instead of advancing.
No, our planning is how do we go back. Our plan is how do we go back because we've not seen that as an opportunity. We've not seen that as a market. We think we can use military tactics, a blockade to say don't go. It's not going to happen. Even with this, people are going to go.
Oh yeah, of course.
It's only the official that government has withdrawn the what they call it, the easy access way to become.
Yeah, to come to this place to come and practice.
But they're going to come. They'll come in a different way. Actually, I want to know the woman who actually.
Mrs. Onitiri.
I mean, is she an Yoruba?
Yeah, she's a Yoruba.
Yes, she is.
Okay, is she one of the leaders?
No, she's not.
She's not. Earlier, she was part of the leadership. Okay. Now she decided to go.
This again goes to vindicate what we've always been saying. That whenever we say we want independence, which we all do support and we all support, we should start proving ourselves. Because these are some of the people who again come. That, I am a consultant here. Can I take charge of the labor department? Can do this, I can do this. And this a situation where
failing to deliver.
This is fraud. This is fraud, causing emotional fraud.
She has actually done more damage to the movement by also summing to that the Yoruba nation has been declared, and so many Yoruba live in such.
Are you getting? So these are the issues that we've been raising. Who are the leaders of this movement? Let them come with a blueprint that we can all sign to, because there's no point just declaring an independent or saying, let's assume
Yoruba nation.
Today, let's assume you and the Nigerian government say
YouTube channel.
Yeah, Yoruba nation, have your way.
Yeah.
Have your independence. Sunday go, you should have your way. Olamilekani, you should have your way. Who are we putting there to do what? What is your credibility? Are we going to have Nigeria should not be part of me part 2, so that we start singing, why did we even come? Why did you even follow Moses? Why did we even got independent? Is that, for me, this is a classic example. It just tells us that, look, let's examine those who claim to be our leaders. Let's demand from them accountability. If we go to Yoruba nation, what are we going to be doing? But actually, on the last issue, you see, Peter Obi issue, if you ask me personally, I do not support any individual in Nigeria, whether Peter would be any individual candidate in Nigeria. One thing I do know is that everyone who believes democracy must support the will of the people.
Yeah.
One thing that is with Peter Obi today is that the masses seems to be with him.
Yeah. Yeah.
The future generation seems to trend towards his direction. Are you getting me? That is what is with him. Anyone who governs without the mandate of especially the future generation, actually within the next 30 years, there will be no Tinubu.
Yeah, of course.
There will be no Buhari.
Yeah.
There will be a lot of Senate presidents.
Yeah.
A lot of them over there within the next would have been dead and gone. I'm not saying young people
no.
But the natural they say Tinubu is 70 something. Right?
You don't mean he's 70 something or
call it 70. I mean, if we say he's 70, let's grant him. We say he's 70. We grant him 30 years. What is the life expectancy in Nigeria?
No, I think he's 80 something. 80.
58.
So he's gone.
He's gone. He's past.
So 30 years, he'll be 100 plus. How many people in Nigeria lives to be 100? So they will be gone. Are you getting me?
Yeah.
So when we see political space where the future generation, the 20s, the 30s, trending towards a direction, and they've gone their way, if indeed the evidence that we've seen shows that is what they've want, what they want. I mean, Peter is not a young boy.
Yeah.
He's 62.
Yeah.
In the next 30 years, he might also not be there.
Yeah.
But he represents a bridge between the old
and the young
and the new.
Yeah.
Actually, Nigeria is a funny country. I love that country.
Well, listen to Star Radio UK, 11:45 the time. We'll go back to Yomi for him to bring the rest of the stories making the rounds, and also tell us what is happening on the social media platform as well. Over to you, Yomi.
We'll go straight to the social media as the situation continue. We continue to, on Star Radio UK, monitor the countdown to what we can call the final part of this government. And this Wednesday, we will be looking at, the Buhari's government 8 years again. We did that before. And this time around, you would also have the opportunity to call in and tell us, your views on the Buhari's government. The Biafra have set up their own, government in exile, and Simon Ekpa has been appointed as the first prime minister of that particular government in exile. So that is also coming up. And like I said, the current situation, we hope the police will be there to, to curtail, to look into the current situation. It's currently trending at Lagos area, where somewhere in Ojodubaga, there is a clash between some of the hoodlums on what we can call overland and stew-related issues. So we hope that is going to be looked into. So some of those that is trending in terms of the social media, like I said, is the Simon Ekpa, the Biafra trending, because of that, the government in exile and so many other issues as well. And I just looking at quickly at what the latest coming out, according to, there's a lot of Nigerians that are facing different issues in South Africa, in Tunisia, but according to Simon on these update says, I have just been briefed by the Foreign Affairs Department of the Biafra government in exile that they've contacted has been made to the Biafrans facing attacks and stranded in Tunisia. I mean, looking at some of these images, you feel very sad that a country like Nigeria that has what it takes, we shouldn't be traveling out of the country. And if you have to travel, we shouldn't be sleeping on the street. They're actually sleeping on the street like, we see here in UK, and probably also cooking there. I mean, we can't show these images. They're very, very worried as well. It also says as well that how do you answer International Center for Investigative Reporting and you are reporting the EPA declares self-Biafra Prime Minister in exile? Do you people are disgraced to English language and journalism? Do you know the meaning of your news organization? It is called investigative reporting. Did you investigate to see that EPA declares self-Prime Minister? And his name is Okechukwu, and I think he's actually responding to one of the media that's called himself International Center for Investigative Reporting that says in their headline, EPA declares self Biafra Prime Minister in exile and names advisory. So quickly, because of our time constraint this morning, let's take a look at what is trending. Mr. Peter Obi is trending. And likewise, Jandor is trending. I know Jandor was a PDP contestant for the Lagos State as well. And just one or two more, then I come back again to you in the studio before we wrap it up this morning. Electoral Act is trending. It seems more Nigerians are participating in the same thing that I think is done in Ghana, the West African Examination Council. But we do know that after their university, everybody's stranded. In the last 10 years, some have not got a basic job, and that means they are part of those 4.5 million that should be part of the new entry to the job market. And that is why JAPA is the most common part of what everybody wants now. Everybody just wants to JAPA. But we are saying that Nigeria has done as much of damage, but whether it's going to work or not, time will tell. Star Radio UK, the finest African and Caribbean radio station in London. And I'll come back again to both of you in the studio so that we can bring it out. Yes,
listeners, Mr. Olayemi Koiki, 11:49 from the Hearts of London. Let me say good morning to Shamsuddin Oladipupo. He said, God bless Yoruba Nation and God bless you all, sir. Okay. Thank you very, very much. And to every one of you who have posted their comments on our pages and our platforms, we salute each and every one of you. But yummy. There was one other story that I really wanted to see. The Senate presidency. Now, what is happening pertaining to that?
Well, the way it should be is that, when you have, the two leader from the president, the vice president, the Senate goes to the next region. But it seems that the northern part of Nigeria probably doesn't want that to happen. How the APC will manage this, time will tell, because if they are still eyeing for the seat of the Senate, knowing fully well that they have already the vice president, even a Muslim ticket, are we now going to see a Muslim Senate president? That is something that a lot of Nigerians will probably have to wait to see.
Well, what do you think about all that? Some of you, Adeyemi says, good morning, Mr. Ajiwa Lion, and all the others. God bless you all. Some of you, God bless you too, and thank you very much for joining us. Well, we'll let Yomi go and rest, and he's going to be coming your way tomorrow. He's promised you the Niger Voices tomorrow, of course. After a week's break, we're going to be bringing that your way. But Yomi, before you go.
Well, good morning from Aziz Badeshara from US Miami, precisely, says to Star Radio UK and the rest of the people that are watching on the sister broadcast as well. I'll be back again tomorrow. Stay tuned with Archie and Frank for the rest of the segment, and I'll be back again. Have a very good morning. Bye for now.
Good morning. All right, then, listeners, that has been updates from Nigeria. I'm going to take a quick break, and once we continue.
ojúgo eruku ata. Abẹ́rẹ́ eruku ata tó fojú bàbá wa wọ́n Nàìjíríà. Ojúgo eruku ata. Abẹ́rẹ́ eruku ata tó fojú bàbá wa wọ́n Nàìjíríà. Ojúgo eruku ata. Abẹ́rẹ́ eruku ata tó fojú bàbá wa wọ́n Nàìjíríà.
Again. No going back. Igboho Òòṣà. Iṣẹ́ rẹ̀ tẹ̀síwájú. Mr. Koiki ẹ ṣé o, àwọn ọmọ ló ń kí o. Àwọn ọmọ ló ń kí o. Lágbára Ọlọ́run, a máa délẹ̀ dèrè o lórúkọ Jésù. Yorùbá nation.
Ọmọ Ìbàràpá lápapọ̀ èdè àdúgbò lọ́wọ́ ẹ̀yìn ọmọ Yorùbá lápapọ̀ tilẹ̀ tókó ẹ̀mí àpọ̀ ẹ̀bá nǹkan wọn Adéyẹmọ Sunday Adéyẹmọ Ìgbòho orúkọ ńlá tó ń jámọ̀ láyà yàrá orúkọ tó ń dẹ̀rù wo lórúkọ náà ọmọ Yorùbá ẹ má sọ torí pé wòrà a kò lè fojú gbé gbòdò láyé títa ríro lẹ̀dá kọlà wúrà tó máa dán alànà kọjá dandan o ọ̀wọ́n ẹni ní má bẹ̀rẹ̀ wọ̀nà ẹ̀dá kan lè ṣì wà lọ́nà mọ́ ẹgbẹ́ àti fìmọ̀ ṣọ̀kan ká lè débi ire ẹ̀jẹ̀ àjọgbárùkù ti Sunday Ìgbòho ṣá ọmọ Ìgbòho mọ̀rẹ́ nílùú alágbàdo òde ọmọ atapẹ̀tẹ̀ wọnú omi ọmọ dòdòdò wodò sọ̀yà ìsọ̀yà òrẹ́ràn bàbá yín láàrin ìlú omi kò sí náà kán sí yín lẹ́nu ọmọ òkúta mẹ́ta òkè Ìgbòho ìkan ṣe yín ní dábàdàbọ̀ ìkan ní mọ́ ọ̀rẹ́ra ìkan tó kù nígbà tí wọ́n mọ̀ Ìgbòho mọ̀rẹ́ kí ló dé Ìgbòho mọ̀rẹ́ sí ọmọ òpópó sàn ìgbàgede Ìgbòho sùn wọn lálàsí bẹ́ẹ̀ wọ́n ní kó ní bẹ̀rẹ̀ ó máa kó bẹ̀rẹ̀ lọ ẹ̀sìn òní bímọ méjì ní Ìgbòho mọ̀rẹ́ lẹ́sìn bá bímọ méjì ní Ìgbòho áfíkan pọpọ sí ámúkan yòókù bọ̀ sànyà átúmúyà rẹ̀ tí ò lọ́rọ̀ gbọ́ áfíṣẹ́rẹ́ wálé wàrà kùdì ọmọ onílé ọ̀la àwọn àjèjì tó ń ṣe déédéé tọ́láwọn oníbomi kó sínú wọn láwọn oníbomi sànyà wẹ̀sẹ̀ ìgbàlódé kòkòrò kọ́ gbogbo wọn náà sáré bomi kó sínú wọn tún bomi sànyà wẹ̀sẹ̀ ọmọ abẹ́rẹ́ mẹ́ta òbí ayé ọ̀kan ṣẹ́ ọ̀kan tẹ̀ ọ̀kan tó kù ní gbogbo ayé tí wọ́n sọ kiri gbogbo ọmọ Yorùbá Sunday Ìgbòho onírẹ̀lẹ̀ láéláé torí àbálásán nìkan ń dá òkúta òṣèṣe fún wọn ìmọ̀ràn lásán ni ti balùwẹ̀ òpó sì ti kó dòdò láyé yìí ó kù díẹ̀ kí tọ́ domi láéláé ìtọ́ nílé domi Sunday Ìgbòho arógun máti tó ń jà fẹ́fẹ́ Yorùbá ní ti lé kókó.
Mo kí gbogbo wa lẹ́ẹ̀kan sí I say a very good afternoon. Mo dúpẹ́ pé ẹ ní opportunity láti wo programu àná ìyá wa Esther. Mo kí gbogbo ọmọ Yorùbá lẹ́ẹ̀kan sí I greet all Nigerians and I say welcome to the program. Máa sọ òyìnbó tó pọ̀ nínú program yìí because I want to speak to Nigerians whether they are Yorubas, they are Hausas, they are from different part of Nigeria. So ẹ máa gbà